Hey folks, it's Nate. Thanks for joining me once again as we look to the horizon. And I am back with a much delayed weekly writing vlog. I've been in and out the last couple of weeks. Really haven't had a good chance to get one of these recorded. So you'd think there would be a lot to report, but mostly it's just been me working on the same handful of things. So maybe not as much. There is one new project that I'm working on, which I'll get to in a second. But first, update on A Candle in the Wind. I have completed part 12. Yes, part 12, which is still 2 weeks ahead of what is currently going up as of this recording. And I'm well into part 13. I think I pretty much have um, the specific beats that are going to flesh out each of my larger plot points in my outline worked out at this point. It's just a matter of translating them to written word. So we're going at a pretty good clip. I may pull a week or two ahead as time goes on. We'll see. But I am also prepping for another round of submissions. I have, of course, just completed my revisions to, well, not just completed, but recently completed my revisions to my submission to Anvil magazine. That is all set and ready to go, unless I get a last minute ask for final touch ups from the editor or publisher. That will be out. That it is out the door. They are at this point taking submission for winter issue, which is going to be probably sometime December or January. Not entirely clear yet. I'm thinking for this one, I submitted to the first issue, and they said they didn't really like all of the work that I did there, and I was welcome to revise it and submit it. I chose not to do that for this episode or for this issue because they were asking specifically for articles with a kind of creepy campfire story vibe to them, and I had something like that in mind. So it was just a matter of translating that to the page. I think for issue 3, I'm going to go back and revise my initial submission and see if they'll take that. But Sursova magazine, which is another pulp style short story magazine that publishes roughly quarterly, is also accepting submissions in August. So I think I'm going to try and write something new for that. I have an idea of what I want to write. I have not really an outline, but a couple of major plot beats to go through. I'm working on character sketches right now because that's just something I do when I'm writing new characters. It really helps me to have done a sketch and gone through that process of building what the character looks like, how they dress, the kind of things they carry. That builds a solid image of the character in my mind, makes them much easier to write. You can just, I can just step in and start writing them and make that stuff up as I go. But I find it much easier to have a coherent idea of what they look like, big picture, maybe fill in details as I'm writing, rather than sort of pulling it together as I go along. I'm sure there are other writers with completely different processes, but that's just how I found it easiest to write. So I've been spending some time on that. I have a pretty neat idea, I think, for a kind of a Hollow Earth-ish story. The general idea is kind of inspired by the Hollow Earth myth that you maybe in some of the late 19th and early 20th century pulp stories, but it's also not the same thing at all. For example, there are no dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are reserved for something else. So there are no dinosaurs in this story, but there are some other interesting creatures in the Hollow world that we're going to be investigating a little bit in this short story. So all in all, I have my plate full as always. It's pretty interesting. I guess one thing I should mention, I can't remember if I've brought it up here before or not, but I've had very middling results submitting to the Iron Age prompts on the Iron Age Media website. It's an interesting idea. I did enjoy, trying to cook up stories for random images, but very few people were reading them on a regular basis. I had maybe 2 or 3 readers per story that I wrote, and while I enjoy writing, there's other writing I do that more consistently gets readers. I would rather focus my time and effort on that and really serve someone who's interested in seeing what I have to say rather than make something that is essentially shouting into the wind. Um, so yeah, I'm not really going to be doing those unless I see something that really excites me now. I know originally when I put together my goals for the year, winning the prompt voting on that was a goal for the year. Um, and I think there's kind of merit to that, but at the same time, it is harder to get people who actually read your story in that kind of a venue because there are so many other submissions. And I was not aware at the time that this magazine would exist, Anvil Magazine, and I was not aware of some of the other short fiction venues I've been submitting to either. So I think that is a better way to potentially grow an audience than continuing to work on the prompts. So I'm kind of putting those on the back burner. Again, I think they're a neat idea, and I did enjoy doing them, but I have so many stories I want to write, so little time to write them in right now. I can't really justify it to myself to keep writing those. Um, so yeah, I'm not going to be continuing with that for the time being. I may bring, if I do write another one, I will definitely bring it up here. But for the moment, um, I will stepping back from that. And it's not like Iron Age website is hurting for submissions. They get a dozen or so per week. So there's still plenty of reading there if you're looking for something neat to read on a specific theme week by week. Um, in the meantime, I have more work to do on A Candle in the Wind. I better get to it. Thanks for tuning in to this update. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. There's a like button and a subscribe button down there. You can use those as you see fit. And I'll talk to you later.